The two labels you're currently looking at may seem very simple, but in fact they serve a much more important political purpose, which is Europe's attempt to protect regional food from going away. France, Spain, and Italy are known across the world, but every nation on the continent has a variety of regional food and drink passed down over the generations. The European Union has established 3 criteria for protecting the heritage of European foods and promoting authentic products. They help you know that you're getting actual Roquefort cheese or Austrian ham, not some knockoff. The most common in my daily life has been the protected geographic identifier products. According to the EU agency in charge, the following properties separate a PGI product from their contemporaries. Firstly, they come from a specific region or country. Second, there are specific characteristics attributed to that area which the product shares. And thirdly, at least one stage of production, processing, or preparation must take place in that area. Cheeses and wine are the typical examples that come to mind. Wine cannot be called Bordeaux within the European Union unless it is produced, prepared, or processed in the related wine region. Paprika cannot be labeled as Hungarian unless it comes from the Hungarian regions that produce paprika. But paprika itself cannot be claimed as a solely Hungarian product because, of course, Spain exists, and everyone can dry peppers in one way or another. 27 nations within the EU all have some type of mark in order to protect traditional food waste from going away to diminishing in quality. Because if you think about this, it is a agricultural standards as much as it is protecting history and tradition. A more strict mark of the Protected Designation of Origin, or PDO, also exists. This mark signifies that every step of production can be sourced to that particular region where it is attributed. Latvia has a specific type of gray-colored pea, while the Austrian region of Tyrol is known for a juniper-flavored ham. These products must be wholly produced in that region, and because many have been going strong for centuries, that is not terribly hard to accomplish. The EU has created an entire website for codifying and search of all these different trademarks, called eBacchus. I encourage you to check and see which is protected in your country, and let me know if you've ever had any of these products. The least common mark you will probably see is that of a traditionally guaranteed product. There are less than 60 at the EU level, but more than likely dozens more if you look at individual nations. 10 of them are from Poland. In order to qualify for EU recognition as a TGP, a product must be deemed traditional in its raw ingredients, production, and final processing. There are 2 additional product classification schemes, but only one has a logo, so I'm making this first one up. The Mountainous Area Scheme helps farmers living in areas that may have a history of specialized production, but lack the means to produce at scale for a wider audience because of terrain or other factors. These are in many ways highly specialized products, and from my understanding, they are an additional attribute that can be put onto a finished product as opposed to being a sole classifier. Finally, we have the Product of EU's Outermost Region scheme, made to help those regions which are, as the name implies, at the extent of the European Union. And guess who makes up the majority of this list? Guadeloupe, French Guiana, Réunion, and Martinique, the Azores, Madeira, and the Canary Islands. 4 French territories, 2 Portuguese, and 1 Spanish. I'm not quite sure what they produce, but I'm very happy to see that they have a pathway to relieve themselves of tourism dependency. So why protect European food in this way? In my view, it does 3 things. It retains the method of food production used over the generations, the designation can help support regional economies, and to promote higher standards. I keep going back to cheese. I probably should get a cheese board, but not every batch of milk sent through the same brining process as feta can be called feta within the EU. Anyone can make a salami, but if over the generation a specific type has been developed unique to that region, these marks are meant to preserve that quality. To give a personal example, my favorite wine, Tokai, is from Hungary. The Tokai grapes are produced in both Hungary and Slovakia due to some Austro-Hungarian imperial history, when the region became one of the first wine appellation sites. Wine that is made in villages just over the Hungary-Slovakia border have been permitted to be sold under the label of Tokai within the EU as of, I believe, 2012. The communities are Hungarian, and chiefly they kept the old ways long enough for it to be recognized as the same wine after 102 years. Now, of course, there is one drawback to this system, which is that it's only really recognized internally to the European Union. The rest of the world can basically ignore this system if they would like to. American producers of dairy can sell cheese called brie that is not from the region or made with the same cheese culture. They can reduce the quality and increase the quantity, while competing with products that are labeled as authentic and protected. They do the same thing internally, as not all Vermont cheddar comes from Vermont, or is even remotely associated with Vermont. Whatever the case, I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and subscribe for more if you do in fact like this type of content.